Up to 100 gay men have reportedly been detained in the Russian region of Chechnya. We're getting our information from The Independent and from the International Business Times. So apparently men are being rounded up and imprisoned in Chechnya. This is coming also from a Russian newspaper and the human rights campaigner, you may know them as the Russian LGBT network. According to the Chechen leader, when asked about this, Ramzan Kadyrov denied the claims on the grounds that no one in Chechnya is homosexual. They are vehemently denying these reports. They go on to say, quote, if such people existed in Chechnya, law enforcement would not have to worry about them since their own relatives would have sent them to where they could never return. Now, this is simply not the case. According to the Russian LGBT network, who is really on the front lines reporting these allegations, they say, quote, gay people have been detained and rounded up, and we are working to evacuate people from the camps, and some have now left the region. Those who have escaped said they are detained in the same room and people are kept together around 30 or 40. They are tortured with electric currents and heavily beaten, sometimes to death. Something that also really sat with me the wrong way, Hasan, is when the story first broke, it was April 1st. And that prompted a spokesperson for Chechnya's interior ministry to dismiss the claims as a, quote, April Fool's joke. Because what a funny fucking joke.
No, but it's actually nefarious in a clever way. They might have been doing that so that, just to diminish the credibility of the articles.
I think that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think it was like, haha, it's April Fools.
No,
they were literally like, they were trying to make it go away.
So this is sort of a larger story that I wanted to talk about with you guys and with you, Has, because when we are talking about sort of the now lukewarm relationship that we have with Russia and the United States, a lot of people might forget, why are we not having great relations with Russia? What's the problem with Russia? And I think a big thing to remember is that it has been proven, like with stories like this and countless others, that Russia does not align with American values when it comes to human rights, specifically with the LGBT plus community. So when this story is getting picked up and when it's getting covered, I think it serves as a good reminder that it's not, Putin has become sort of a joke, like he's the lover of Trump, and I know that it's sort of funny in late night television, but there are real stories and there's real pain and going on behind the scenes that it's important that we remember. And if a story like this really strikes you and you want to do something or you want to learn more about it, I would really encourage you to head over to the Russian LGBT network. It's a website, you can donate to them. They are doing a lot to break the story and to get these people out of these detainment camps. You can go there at lgbtnet.org, and I would encourage you to do so just to keep up to date on what's happening here. Hasan, when you saw that I put this forward as a story, were you surprised?
No, this is something I actually have been meaning to cover for a while, but unfortunately our domestic policy and also the international outrage because of our domestic policy has been so severe that I haven't been able to get to this story. No, this is absolutely insane. And I wanna talk about a couple different things. Now, America has warm relations with, and feasibly as the world leader, or the global leader in politics, should have warm relations with every nation, regardless of what their cultural opinion is on LGBT community, or how they oppress other people, or how they even do genocide, technically, because that also happens in different regions, so that they can fix the problem and in an amicable and diplomatic way. Now that might be kind of a naive or a globalist perspective that I have. And there are instances where military force is needed, but that's how the world politics works. Like you're supposed to strive to have peaceful relationships with almost every nation on the planet. But having said that, it's kind of interesting because the US not that long ago had pretty staunch opinions on the LGBT community. And it was definitely a disenfranchised, oppressed group of people, and it still is. And definitely certain segments of LGBT people get it way worse than others do. And we're moving in the right direction towards progress here in America. So it's hard to understand, especially if you live in Los Angeles like we do, or if you live in New York, or a big metropolitan area, or even like Austin, Texas, where like if you live in a progressive urban environment, it's very hard for you to understand, like, wait a minute, like, why are they treating gay people this way? It's so stupid, but that's a very grim reality for a lot of different parts of the world where all of this stuff is basically, you can't be yourself, you only can be yourself behind closed doors. And that's terrifying and that's awful. And we kind of know where it comes from. Like homophobia is pretty established within popular culture and also in some scientific experiments that it comes from a place of homosexuality and hating yourself a little bit. Like you hate that you might have homosexual urges. And there's not a clearer picture for, like, I mean, when you see the photo, and we'll put this up, like the photo of the Chechen leader and Putin hanging out together, that's just two gay dudes hanging out, talking about how much they hate LGBT, like LGBT lifestyles, but secretly craving each other so sexually. Like they're just like, oh man, I saw your calendar shoot and it was glorious. Like when you were bareback on a horse. That's so, I wanted that. Like it's so obvious, man. Like it's just, I don't know. To me, it's so obvious. I grew up in Turkey and we have a more conservative culture there. And it's kind of like, it's not like super frowned upon or anything, but it's just like behind closed doors, right? And yet I never, even though I never met a gay person until I came to Los Angeles or came to the States, I never had a problem with it. I was never like, oh my God, why are they doing the things that they're doing? That's so evil and nasty and unchristian-like, or whatever, you know, people use to instill fear amongst, like to instill anti-LGBT rhetoric. And it's because you're gay. That's the reason. There's no other reason than that. That is the only reason. You're gay and you hate yourself for it, and you're terrified that you secretly crave dicks. You see phallic figures when you're walking around, you see a phallic figure and you think, man, how would that feel in my asshole? That is why they're fucking detaining gay people. And that's super selfish and it's super fucked up. And I wish that we could live in a culture where the entirety of the world could just accept that reality and just move along and kind of be like, all right, we handled this, we dealt with it, everyone was gay, it's out. Like sexuality is a spectrum. Some people are a little gay, some people are very gay. And Putin and this fucking asshole in Chechnya, they're very gay and they hate themselves for it. They should just come out and celebrate it. They would be much happier people.
Okay, we want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Please don't forget to check out the Russian LGBT network. They can use all the support they can get during this time. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.